Once upon a time, while the ugly duckling was wandering around the lake to find something to eat, a voice said, "Psst," from somewhere nearby. When he looked towards the sound, he saw a red rose that was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen.
"Oh, Rose, hello. Is it possible to find something to eat around here?"
he asked the rose. But the rose was so arrogant that without even caring about his hunger, she told the ugly duckling to get out of there immediately. This confused the duckling, and he couldn't understand why she was telling him to do that.
"Why do you want me to leave?"
he asked her. The rose replied, "Because my beautiful leaves do not get any sunlight because of you." She meant every word. However, the ugly duckling wasn't even standing that close to the rose. This time around, the rose said,
"You kick up so much water when you swim around.
"You're going to rot my leaves." And she asked him to leave.
I see, but I'm not even swimming right now.
The arrogant rose paused for a moment and said,
"Oh, why don't you understand? You're so ugly, and seeing you damages my beauty."
Her honesty was too much. Hearing it, the ugly duckling became very upset. While he was crying, the arrogant rose continued praising herself.
"Look at me. My leaves are so soft and shiny. See how they shine. They're not hard like those pale gray feathers of yours."
The ugly duckling couldn't take it anymore.
"If I don't give you water from my lake, those soft leaves will dry up, and then they'll fall off,"
he told her. And in response, "Instead of giving me water, wash yourself first. Compared to my beautiful aroma, you smell absolutely awful," the arrogant rose said. The ugly duckling smelled himself.
No, this is my normal scent, and it's not bad. You're such an arrogant rose.
The ugly duckling got angrier and angrier and decided to swim away. The days and nights passed by. The arrogant rose began to wither from thirst. And just then, she lifted her head and saw the ugly duckling swimming around.
"Hey, Ugly Duckling, for a long time no one has come here. I wonder if you could give me some water from the lake. Look at me. My leaves are drying up."
The ugly duckling remembered the conversation they'd had the other day.
You said that the water of my lake would rot your leaves. What changed?
Just as they were about to get into another fight, a farmer passing by noticed the rose was withering, and the duckling was starting to get weak with hunger.
My little sweethearts, hasn't anyone taken care of you?"
he said as he approached them with compassion. He took the bread out of his pocket and threw it into the lake. While the ugly duckling was happily eating the bread, the farmer poured handfuls of water that he took from the lake onto the rose's petals. The kind-hearted farmer came to the lake every day and kept on feeding the duckling and watering the rose. And when the duckling everyone thought was ugly grew up, he became one of the most beautiful swans that was ever seen. When the farmer saw him, he couldn't believe his eyes. Even the arrogant rose was so impressed by his beauty that she regretted what she said to him.
"I have been unfair to you. Can you ever forgive me?"
And the swan agreed to forgive the arrogant rose because she'd become kind. This is how the friendship between the beautiful swan, who everyone thought was ugly, and the rose began. Because love is the cure for everything, even for arrogance.
Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a small but dense forest. The trees whispered to one another, and the flowers pollinated each other, and all the plants enjoyed being together as a forest. One day, one of the beautiful days of spring, between a cactus and a sunflower, a glowing seed started to grow. This growing flower was a gorgeous rose with crimson petals.
Hello, my name is Rosie.
I'm a cactus. Nice to meet you. Your petals are so beautiful, Rosie. I wish I had petals like yours.
Thanks, but not everyone can be smart and beautiful and fragrant, right?
Rosie's haughty response surprised everyone. She was such an arrogant flower, even though she had just bloomed.
I am obviously the most beautiful flower here. Look at my shiny petals. There are lots of beautiful plants here, Rosie. You are just one of them. What? How dare you compare me with the prickly cactus? I am much more beautiful than he.
Cactus was very upset about what he heard, and he could not say anything.
It's not nice what you said to the cactus, Rosie. And you have thorns too.
Actually, it's not nice to compare a cactus with a beautiful rose like me. What would you know about beauty? You don't even bloom.
Neither the cactus nor the sunflower or the trees could get used to Rosie's attitude because she was a flower that constantly praised herself. Days passed, and summer finally came. The sunflower was so happy. With her bright yellow face, she followed the sun's rays all day long. Cactus, on the other hand, drank the water he had stored throughout the winter and kept himself vigorous and healthy all summer long. Even some tiny birds visited the cactus to drink water. Other plants were not able to store water like cactus for this hot weather. And Rosie even began to wilt because of thirst.
Will it ever rain here?
Winter has to come for it to rain, Rosie.
But I am about to wither from this thirst. All my beauty is gone.
You can ask Cactus for help if you want.
Rosie saw that the cactus was happy to help other flowers, but she was too proud to speak up because she always said bad words to him. However, when another petal withered and fell from her head, she put her pride aside and was willing to be embarrassed. She asked the cactus for help.
Hey, cactus, I'm sorry for the cruel words I said to you and Pine Tree. You are both beautiful and very useful plants for this forest. Can you help me too?
Cactus saw that Rosie was choosing to be humble and had put her arrogance aside, so he shared his water with her. She could feel life spring up inside her once again, and her bright petals spread out in the rays of the sun. From that day on, Rosie learned not to judge her friends by their looks, because no matter how different we look from each other, each one of us is designed with beauty and helpfulness.
On a little farm lived a cute duck family. Mummy Duck was sitting on her eggs waiting for her new ducklings to hatch. There were exactly 7 eggs that were waiting to hatch. One sunny morning, the eggs began to hatch. Soon after, with great joy, the 6 little ducklings began to hatch. The ducklings were trying to adapt to the new world. They were quacking and walking around Mother Duck. However, the largest egg of them all was still trying to hatch, and Mother Duck began to worry. She thought that there might be something wrong. She decided to wait a little while longer. And at last, the 7th and the largest egg hatched. With great confusion, the poor ducklings began to look around. Little did he know his mother and siblings were a bit more confused than he was. Because this duck, in particular, did not look like his siblings. He was built much more broader and had grey and white feathers. The other ducklings began to laugh at him.
What an ugly duckling you are! You look nothing like us.
I don't get it. How come you look nothing like your siblings?
Ugly, 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 ugly.
Some time later, the ducklings all grew older. But the ugly duckling was much bigger than the others, even the colour of his feathers.
You grew up so fast. How did you turn out to be so different?
Time was passing by, and the ugly duckling was growing up to be a different and sad duck. None of his siblings wanted to play with him.
We won't play with you because you're ugly.
All the other animals on the farm were making fun of him. Ugly duckling, ugly duckling.
Na 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 na, ugly duckling, ugly duckling.
Mother Duck, on the other hand, was doing her best in protecting him.
My poor duckling, why are you so different than the others?
As the days passed, the poor ugly duckling was feeling horrible. All night long he would silently cry and think to himself that no one would ever want him. Why am I so ugly? Why couldn't I turn out to be like my siblings? One day, some hunters approached the lake near where they lived. The hunters began to hunt the ducks they had seen. Whilst Mother Duck was looking for food for the ducklings, she was caught by the hunters. The poor duckling, not knowing what had been happening, he waited till morning for his mother to return. Poor duckling didn't know what to do. First he went next to the dog, and the dog told him to go.
Go away. No one should see me talking to an ugly duck like you.
A while later, he went next to the chicken, but the chicken also made fun of him. Even I'm better looking than you. Ugly Duckling was very sad.
No one wants me here. If my mother isn't coming back, there's absolutely no reason for me to stay on this farm.
That morning, the ugly duckling left the farm. He swam to the other side of the lake. He asked the same question to all the animals he bumped into along the way.
Do you know of any duck that looks like me? Do you know of any ducks that look like me? Do you know of any ducks that look like me?
He received the same answer from all of them. They had never seen such ugly duck before. Poor Duckling began his journey and reached another lake once he was there. He asked the same question to the geese. You mustn't stay here like this. There are hunters around. Quickly get away from here. Go on, now go. The ugly duckling began to move along. Soon after, another lake appeared. This time he was all alone. There was no one to be seen.
Well then, if nobody wants me, I will hide here forever.
Even though he was all alone, he was very happy. One day, he saw a horde of white, long-necked birds migrating to the south. He looked at them with admiration.
How beautiful they are. I wish I could be like them.
Winter had come and snow had begun to fall. The ugly duckling fell in love with the sight of his first ever snow. Playing around, he was covered in white snow. Due to the heavy snow, the ugly duckling was finding it hard to find food. So off he went walking around trying to find food. He was cold and tired. Meanwhile, he came across a farmer. The farmer felt sorry for him and gave his jacket.
You poor thing, how cold you are. I will take you home and look after you until you grow.
The farmer did as he said and took good care of him. When spring had arrived, the ugly duckling had grown. So that he would have free space to move around, the farmer decided to leave him in a lake. All alone once again. After some time had passed, the ugly duckling looked at his reflection in the water, but he was amazed at what he saw. At first, he couldn't recognize himself. He thought there was someone else behind him. So he flipped his wings and noticed that his reflection was doing the same thing. He stretched out his neck and his reflection continued to copy his movements. Right then he knew that this amazing bird was no one other than himself.
Oh, how much I've changed! I look like the birds in the sky! I must return back home and show myself at once!
And off he went. While he was swimming in the lake, he came across a wedge of swans. Because he was one of them now, they took him along. Ugly Duckling was travelling in joy with the swans. A boy at the lake shore yelled out to his friends when he saw the swans.
Hey, look at the young one! All the way back! Must be the most beautiful swan I've seen!
Yes, from the beginning, he indeed was a swan. He was just an unfortunate egg which got mixed up in between the ducks. But now he was with his real family, and ahead of him was a happy life.
Once upon a time, in a forest far away, there was a tiny frog named Tiddalik. Tiddalik loved to play in sunny weather. He met some of his friends by the lake, and he jumped on the lotus flowers with them.
Brrr. 8, 9, and 10. I win, I win. I made it to 10. I win.
Bravo, Tiddalik, you did it again. Blip.
This jumping game of the frog friends made them very tired, and therefore they were very thirsty.
Come on, let's drink some water! Grog.
The 3 frog friends met on a big leaf and started to drink water. Tiddalik was drinking so fast that the other frogs warned him.
Tiddalik, be slow, you'll bloat your belly. Bleep.
But I am very thirsty. I'd want to drink even more.
I think we should stop him, Grog.
After a while, Tiddalik, whose stomach was swollen with water, suddenly stopped, because there was not even a drop of water left in the lake to drink.
Huh? There was a lot of water here just now. Where did it go? Brrr.
Because you drank it all, Tiddalik. Grog.
What? Brrr. Okay, but I feel like I haven't drunk water at all. Brrr.
How can you still want to drink more water? Bleep.
Where else can I find water in this forest? Tell me quickly. Brrr. Brrr. Brrr.
There's a creek behind those giant trees.
Hush. Why do you say that? What if he dries up the creek now? Bleep.
Tiddalik, with a swollen belly, hopped away from his friends. The frog friends, who were staring in surprise, immediately went to inform the giant hippo. At that time, the giant hippo was resting under a tree, and his assistant, Fox, was on watch right in front of him.
Bleep. Hello, Fox. We urgently want to talk to the giant hippo. He is in a deep sleep right now.
You better wake him up. It's very important.
What can you say that is more important than his sleep, little frogs? Fox, hurry up, bleep. Otherwise we will not have a drop of water to drink or to wash, bleep.
When the fox saw the frog's fear and urgency, he woke the giant hippo up. The hippo opened his eyes wide and bent over the two frog friends. The frogs told what had happened, and then they jumped on the giant hippo's head and went in search of Tiddalik.
If we run out of all our water, it will be a disaster for the jungle animals.
At that moment, the bloated Tiddalik arrived at the creek.
Here is the water, so good.
A rabbit, who saw the frog Tiddalik drinking water by the creek, was going to come to the edge and drink water. But the frog warned him.
Hey, rabbit, all the water here is mine. Go drink water from somewhere else.
But there is no other water around here. Even the lake has dried up.
The frog drank all the water from the creek without listening to what the rabbit said. Now, he has an even bigger belly than before.
Where else can I find water here?
The rabbit's eyes widened in surprise.
You finished the water of the creek before I could take a sip, and you still want to drink water?
Yeah. I drank the lake. I fished the creek. I'll drink all the water.
Tiddalik continued to search for water in the forest, with his big belly growing larger by the gulp. Wherever he saw a small puddle, he started to drink and drink it. The inhabitants of the forest were very surprised when they saw the dried lake and the creek that no longer flowed. Neither an owl could find water, nor a gazelle. Finally, the giant hippo and little frog friends saw the sad rabbit standing by the creek.
Have you seen a frog that is greedy for water here, rabbit?
Yeah, he went that way. He even drinks tiny puddles formed by rain.
The giant hippo sprinted with all his might and followed Tiddalik's trail, and other forest animals followed after him. The frog, Tiddalik, was just about to drink the last puddle he found when the hippo and dehydrated forest dwellers appeared before him.
Tiddalik, stop! You drank all the water in the forest and left us no water to drink.
You must give back the water of the lake and creek.
Your frog friends are telling the truth, Tiddalik. A huge hippo like me and that tiny bird you see need water too.
Even plants, trees, insects need water. Please open your mouth and give us back the water you filled in your stomach.
Even though the inhabitants of the forest begged Tiddalik, whose belly was full of water, he was not willing to give back the water he drank.
What are we going to do?
If we can make him laugh, he can't hold back any longer and he'll give back all the water. Yeah, great idea. Besides, Tiddalik loves to laugh.
The rabbit found a hat and started entertaining the frog. Although Tiddalik found the rabbit funny, he managed to restrain himself not to laugh. This time, the panda was on the stage. He started dancing so funny that everyone in the forest started laughing at him. But Tiddalik didn't laugh at the panda's dance either. Then the little squirrel quickly started to draw a picture. The forest dwellers began to wait in anticipation. Everyone laughed when the squirrel showed him the picture he made. But Tiddalik didn't. In the end, the giant hippo was on the stage, not to make them laugh, but in anger.
Now I am very angry, Tiddalik.
The giant hippo started with his huge body, jumping and grunting like a frog nervously. All the animals were laughing because whatever the hippo was doing looked funny. Finally, the frog Tiddalik could not stand it and started laughing like the others at the hippo. Just as his mouth was opened, all the water he drank gushed out everywhere. The lake has returned to its original state. The creek started to flow again. And even small puddles have finally filled their place. As Tiddalik laughed, his belly shrunk. He's back to his old cute frog form.
Well done, Tiddalik. You didn't leave all us many forest dwellers thirsty.
You don't have a big belly anymore. You can easily jump on lotus leaves.
Oh, I had a huge belly. Now I feel so relieved. The next time you feel thirsty, think about others. Everyone else in this forest needs water as much as you. For example, I need to go and take a shower right now. You are right, my friends.
The forest dwellers were very happy to have water again, because water is the most valuable part of the forest.
Once upon a time, there was a baby elephant named Dimbo who lived with his parents and was very bored of his life in the forest. He wanted to go far and explore new places. He would go around the whole forest and meet new people, but his friend the little mouse kept telling him that the world was very big and that there were too many other places still to be seen. So Dimbo made up his mind. He was going to go on a long journey and explore new destinations. One day, he went over to his parents to tell them all about it.
I'm bored of being in the same forest. I want to go and explore new places.
My baby, this is our home. And plus, we don't know what's out there for us.
Out of the forest? Humans can be very dangerous. Dimbo listened to his parents, but did not really take notice of what was being said. He still wanted to see the world out of the forest. The same night, after everyone fell asleep, he left home and began to walk towards the end of the forest. It was now too dark. He could hardly find his way. Right at that moment, he realized that something was coming towards him. Suddenly, before he could move further, he found himself in a big net. He tried to get away, but there was no hope. After a while, he heard some noises. People yelling, cheering.
We got him!
Yay!
We got him!
Oh, yeah! Don't hold his back!
Come on!
Before he could even understand what was happening, Dimbo moved up from the ground and into a dark box. The lid of the box shut down on him and the box suddenly began to move. Scared little Dimbo did not know what to do. Suddenly he heard a voice.
So, they caught you too, huh?
When he looked at the direction of the sound, he realized it was one of the monkeys from the forest.
Who got me?
Humans!
But why did they catch me? I didn't do anything to them.
I didn't do anything either, but they're planning to do something to us.
The monkey was right. The people who caught Dimbo and the monkey were working for a circus in the town. They were taking the animals that they had caught to the circus to use them in the shows. In the morning, when she could not see her baby, the mummy elephant got worried. She asked her children if they had seen Dimbo or not, but they had also not seen him since last night. In a hurry, Mummy Elephant went next to Daddy Elephant.
Dimbo's not here, he's gone.
So he did what he said. We have to find him before something happens to him.
His family found Dimbo's friend, the mouse, and told him all that had happened. The mouse was really sad.
It's all because of me. I told him that there's also life outside the forest. Don't worry, we will find him.
Days had passed. Dimbo was held in an area surrounded by barbed wire next to the circus tent. His friend the monkey was kept in a cage. The people of the circus were preparing for the shows that were going to begin 1 week later. Dimbo was watching these people, circus tents and the trucks, in astonishment, because it was the first time he was seeing things such as these.
What is this thing called circus? And why are they keeping me here?
While Dimbo was thinking about this, 2 men came and took him out of the barbed wire fence. When brought to this circus, Dimbo was horrified by the view he saw. A while later, the owner of the circus, who was also an animal trainer, came next to Dimbo with a whip in his hand.
You will do the tricks exactly as I will show you. Best part of the show will be yours alone, or else you will not like your punishment.
Dimbo was very frightened. He tried to do the tricks the circus owner was teaching him. At the same time, his friend the mouse was looking for Dimbo all over the forest. He asked about him to all the animals he saw, but no one knew a thing. A small pink bird saw the hopeless mouse wandering around and flew next to him to ask what his problem was.
I'm looking for my friend Dimbo.
Dimbo? You mean the stubborn baby elephant Dimbo?
Yes, I think he left the forest and went to the city.
As my mother told me, when I was a little baby, Dimbo saved my life. If he's in trouble now, I would like to help.
You can fly to the city to look for Dimbo. If he's there, I'm sure you're going to find him.
Sure. Don't you worry. I will find him.
The little pink bird went up immediately and began to fly towards the city. After flying for a couple of hours, she noticed the big colourful circus tents and some trucks in the distance. She flew over to them. And what did she see? Some people putting Dimbo back into the fenced area. She immediately flew next to Dimbo.
Hello, Dimbo. I'm so happy that I found you. Your family and your friends are so worried. Some people have imprisoned me here. They will put me in the show next week. Really? You don't worry, we will get you out of here. I will now go and let your family know about the situation.
The bird flew up into the sky and made her way to the forest. Dimbo was very happy because he knew he was going to be saved. The little bird went next to Dimbo's family and told them all about it. Mummy and Daddy Elephant were very happy.
We'll leave early in the morning. We will take our baby back from the humans.
Early in the morning, Dimbo's family, the mouse and the bird began their journey to the city. The elephants and the mouse were not as fast as the bird. There was a long journey waiting for them. Back at the circus, Dimbo and the other animals were preparing for the big show. While the wild monkey was being funny with the clowns, Dimbo was trying to do the tricks the circus owner had taught him.
Come on now, you have to jump higher.
The circus owner was asking him to do things that an elephant could not do. So Dimbo remembered what had happened to him when he tried to do the things that the other animals had done.
I hope Mommy and Daddy can come quickly to save me from here.
Exactly 1 day had passed by, and it was now the show day. Lights of the circus were shining, and a lot of people were coming into the tent. Dimbo's family, the mouse, and the little pink bird came next to the circus tent. In the area that was fenced with barbed wire, they saw Dimbo.
There he is!
Yes, but how will we save him from there?
I will go talk to Dimbo.
I am coming too.
The mouse and the bird went over to Dimbo. The mouse went under the fence and went next to Dimbo.
Psst! Dimbo, look here.
Hey, buddy.
Meanwhile, the little pink bird got a closer look at the iron door.
The door is locked. It will be hard to find the keys. When it's my turn, they will open the door. Then we can run away.
Okay, we will make a plan. Wait for us.
In the meantime, the show continued at the circus. The monkey and the clown were trying to be funny so that the guests could laugh. After they finished their show and left the stage, the circus owner went on the stage.
Dear guests, next we will have our magician on stage.
The circus owner left the stage and continued to the back. He asked his men to bring the elephant. His men went outside and opened the door to the fence where Dimbo was kept. Right at that moment, there was a loud noise, and when they looked where it was coming from, they saw 4 elephants charging towards them. The men left everything and ran away. And when they left, Dimbo could easily escape and was very happy to see his family.
Come on, we need to get away fast.
No!
Upon Dimbo's answer, they were all shocked.
First, we have to save my other imprisoned friends. Let's distract them so that the mouse and the bird can open their cages.
The 4 elephants began to run around the circus. Daddy Elephant went into the tent. Everybody began to run around in fear. At the same time, the bird was opening the locks of the cages. The mouse was opening the gates so that all the animals could get out. They all ran away into the forest. The circus owner was shocked and did not understand what was going on. He was furious. While he was running around, the whole tent came down on him. Dimbo, his family, and his friends stopped to take a break when they were in a safe area away from the circus. They were all tired, but very happy. At that present moment, the monkey came next to them.
Dimbo, I thank you on behalf of all the animals you saved from the circus. Instead of running away while you had the chance, you chose to save us too.
My friends, I'm sure you would do the same for me. Living in the forest taught me friendship and to help one another.
Yes, we always should care for one another, otherwise life can be very, very hard on us.
Well, Dimbo, when is your next trip?
Next time you'll decide to leave the forest, do let us know about it.
Daddy, Mommy, my sister, my brother, I'm really sorry that I got you worried. I made a mess. Don't worry, I won't ever leave this beautiful forest again.
So they all continued their journey back to the forest. Without ever complaining again, Dimbo lived a happy life in the forest.